the paranormal war room, the legends arise. We're diving deep down where the truth never lies. Diving deep down where the truth never lies. Unravel the mysteries, let the stories unfold. This beat, these tales are daring and bold.
Welcome back to the Paranormal War Room. I'm your host, Corky, and tonight I am joined by Miss Christine Deane. You're from Australia. Why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we get started here?
Hi, I've been a paranormal investigator now for about 4 or 5 years. It's been a while, but had lots of experiences. I used to be able to see spirits when I was a child, but I've since lost that ability. I can still sense them and feel them, but other than that, yeah, I love the paranormal. I've always been interested in it, and I'm in my element when I'm doing an investigation. So
I believe it. I'm actually too scared to investigate myself, but I love talking to people about it. So I'm excited to hear about some of your experiences. So yeah, I'll just turn the show over to you and just tell us a little about what you've had going on. I'm excited to hear about it.
no worries. I think I probably won't be able to do them in sequence of when they happen, but
It doesn't matter.
I'll start with the most personal one that I ever had. My auntie died at 55, ovarian cancer, and she was her and her partner at the time had arranged to be buried together. I actually hadn't gone to her grave for a long time, and I decided to go and do an investigation. And then I found out that her headstone had been taken away by her partner's new wife when he passed away. Everything of her had been taken away. That quite upset myself and my mum. So during the investigation, I was using the app called Ghost Tube Vox. Sorry, have you heard of Ghost Tube before?
I have not. No.
So it was Ghost Tube Vox, and how it does is I think it runs through radio stations. I was speaking to my Aunt Marion saying how unhappy I was that there was no recognition of her. And Anthony's voice come through on the Vox saying, "Christine, we're together." And I lost it. Yeah. That made me very emotional, and unbelievable that it was actually his voice as well. So that was probably one of my first ever true personal experiences. The most scariest was when I went on a 5-day paranormal trip to Tasmania with two of my close friends, Pete Casalato from Night Watchers Paranormal Australia, and Angela Accardi from Spirit Crew I'm Spirit Crew South Australia, Spirit Crew Australia. We went on quite a different, it was for 5 days, but the most scariest was at the Hobart Penitentiary, which is a very old jail that's been closed down for a long time. And we went downstairs in the tunnels where they used to keep the prisoners locked up while they were waiting for a court sentence. So it was myself and Angela down there. There was a tunnel going that way and a tunnel going that way, and it was pitch black. We had we had instruments. We had an alarm in the tunnel going that way, which you could go upstairs at the end. This tunnel on this side was completely blocked off, so you could only go so far. This is a tunnel that we had all the cat balls were going off, K2 meters going off, alarm just like bull. We heard a growl, and then as we heard the growl, felt something rush by me, and at the same time I got a poke in the back of a really hard poke in the back of my head. So somebody rushed past me and just gone slap. Scared the bejesus out of me.
No doubt.
I turned around and I said to Angela, because she was behind me, I'm like, "Did you do that?" She's like, "No, that wasn't me." So anyway, 5 minutes later, it happened again, and I literally beat myself. We were scared. Pete was somewhere off in the other end of the jail, and we had walkie-talkies, and we were communicating with one another. But yeah, no, that was terrifying with the growl and then getting poked in the head twice.
No doubt.
So after that happened, we went upstairs to the courtroom, and as we were going into the courtroom door, I heard a whisper. I heard something. So I said to Angela, "Did you hear that?" We didn't do anything until we went into the courtroom, and then afterwards on the playback, there was a whisper of a woman saying, "Help me."
Wow.
So yeah, that was pretty
That's
cool.
insane.
Yeah. What else? I'm just trying to think. I've done so
Well,
many different.
well, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Before we started recording, you told me you started having experiences probably around 3 years old. Uh, can you go into that just a little bit? And you said you don't have though. You can't. I forget what you said. You can't do it anymore. But
I can't I don't know if I used to see them or sense them, but
mhm,
I always, when I was a child, out of the dark. I can remember one time, actually, no, we lived in a house in Port Augusta, which is in like a small town in South
mhm,
Australia, and the house was haunted. Now, my
mhm.
mum called the ghost George, and
Right.
doors would slam all the time. I slept in a room by myself, and my room was sort of like at the end of a hallway, and there was my doorway here and the kitchen doorway here. I saw underneath my doorway brown lace-up shoes walk underneath my door. So I opened the door, and
Yeah.
there was nobody there.
Wow.
Another time is we went to. Oh, my cat's just jumped up. We went to Whyalla, which is like about a half hour, three-quarters of an hour drive away from Port Augusta to get some KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken,
You guys got
because there was
KFC in Australia?
we have, yeah. We've had it for years, but at that
That's
time it wasn't
awesome.
in but at that but at that time it wasn't in Port Augusta, it was only in Whyalla, so we had to drive all the
Right.
way there. On our way back, it was dark. Our house was on a corner, and my house, because my bedroom was on the same angle as the corner, as we were driving down the street, my bedroom light was on, and there was a black silhouette in
Ooh,
my bedroom window. And by the time we got into the driveway and got in house, there was nobody there. The light was out and everything. So
wow. Why
um,
do you think something like that's following you, or is it something that's attached to your family, or does all
I
the
just
women
think
in your
that was in.
family?
Um, no, because I think that there was a lot of haunted houses in that area in Port Augusta, so
Mm,
it was just the house, I think, because it never followed us. Well, never had
right.
that sort of thing. Where
So when you're gonna do an investigation, what's your favorite piece of equipment you like to use? I always like to learn about the equipment everybody uses. I learned a lot about dowsing rods a few weeks ago.
That's
So,
my favorite, the dowsing
here we
rods.
go, dowsing rods. Tell me about it.
I always get. Sometimes you don't get much confirmation, but
No.
it's you always have to ask a yes no question. So
Yeah,
it can cross over for yes, repel out for no.
yeah,
Had some pretty good sessions with the dowsing rods and with accurate information or answers. It, it's how they work is I think they work through your energy, and
mhm.
then they use the ghosts can use your energy to manipulate the
Yeah,
rods.
they're definitely fascinating. I interviewed a couple here probably a few weeks ago, and she actually brought them out, during the show, and actually was getting responses during the show. And she made them move to where they would point behind her, like go behind her shoulders. And I watched her hands because I'm trying to be skeptical. I'm always trying to debunk stuff. But to make those dowsing rods go behind you, you would have to tilt your hands like that.
Yeah,
And,
because you've
and
got to
yeah,
if I
yeah,
stand up, you've got to, can't see me, you've got to I always put my elbows into
yeah,
my
yeah,
ribs and then
yeah,
hold the dowsing rods
yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
and I
So,
watched her hands, and those things moved behind her, and she never moved her hands. And you could
yeah.
get this she got this blank look on her face, and I asked her when she was done, I said, "Did you realize you were just staring off like a deer in the headlights or something like that?" And she said, "Yeah, I kinda zone out when I'm doing it." So, 100%, I believe in the dowsing rods. Of course, they've used them for years to locate water and stuff like that. I just recently found out that they use them in paranormal investigations, so I'm fascinated
Yeah.
with stuff like that.
Well, you can use
Um,
them to locate water, metal objects, alive. Because I've like when I get mine, I tested them and I'll say, okay, find something metal, and as soon as I go over metal, it'll cross over.
right.
And I'll say, ask them to find something that's live, and I'll walk over my dog or my cat, and they'll cross over. So it's any
Yeah.
any energy.
Yeah, they're fascinating. Have you ever been on a paranormal investigation, and have you ever come across anything that you would think would be like a malevolent spirit or something evil or anything like that? Yeah, tell
Yes,
me about that.
Uh, because I do cleansings as well and
Mhm.
St. Benedict shields over houses myself and I've got a very good friend who's a psychic medium. We went to a friend's house because she had somebody come in with an attachment and decided that it liked her bedroom.
Really?
So the lady called us and asked us if we could go and help her because she was not able to sleep in her room. Her dog was wouldn't even go in the room. They were waking up with bruises. There was something moving their waterbed when they were sleeping. So she couldn't sleep in the room at all. So we went there and did an investigation, and the same thing happened. I was using ghost tube Vox. I asked it and I told it that you have to leave. You are no longer welcome here. It come through on the Vox. I will not leave. And it
Whoa,
just
really?
yeah. Turned
Man,
around
I
and
don't
called her and I'm like, "Did you hear that?" She's like,
yeah.
"Yes."
I don't know how I would
Goosebumps.
handle something like that. I really don't. I would probably throw my phone down and run. Of course, that's why
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here talking to people that do this stuff. I don't really do it
Oh,
myself.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So
I
we
tell
ended
it
up yeah.
go
And there was a portal in her room as well, so we had to close that. And because her room was dark all the time, we had to tell her she's got to open up her curtains and let light into the room. It took
wow.
us 3 goes to get rid of her, and it still wouldn't go. It got better for a couple of days. She was able to sleep, but ultimately, because it was attached to her, she was the one
Mhm.
that had to get rid of it. So she grew up. She got strong, and actually told it to with a few bad
Yeah.
words to
Yeah.
eventually
Well,
go away.
I I definitely agree with that because the house I live in here, like it was built in 1864. Now, for the United States, that's an old house, and I'm sure you guys got older houses than that, but for here, that's an old house. And when we first moved in, it was like something you would see on a TV show. You know, it was bad, and we actually had to get our church involved and all that good stuff. But when it came down to it, I was told, you're the man of the house. You have to handle this.
Yep.
And I had to go around and do stuff. And when I did that, uh, we've not had any problems since. We've been here 7 years now. So
Yep.
I really believe it's something to do with, whoever it's attacking or attached to, or if you're like the leader of the house or whatever. All that stuff matters, man. It really does.
Yeah, and they feed off your fear as well. That's how
Yeah.
they get
Yeah.
stronger. So you actually ultimately have to be strong and tell it no more, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you do cleanses and
Mhm.
you mentioned that you closed a portal. How would you do that, man? That fascinates me.
With certain prayers and
Mhm.
holy water. Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense. The Lord can do it all. That's what I always say.
Yep.
Well, what's the most compelling evidence you've ever got? The one thing that you said, well, check this out. How do you explain this then? What's the one?
Oh God, we've had so much. I mean, the only compelling evidence I could say is what I've seen, and I wasn't able to film it because I wasn't filming at the time. I was
Mhm.
doing an investigation at the old Adelaide jail, which is very haunted. There was, I think, Elizabeth Wilcock, her name was. She was one of the last ladies to ever be hung
Oh, wow.
in Australia, and I had a trail cam going up near her grave. And
Mhm.
after the investigation finished, I went to pick up the trail cam, and on the way back, I looked through this doorway into one of the prison cells, and I saw a black, like a shadow figure, walk past. Oh, actually, anyway, walk past. That like really excited. It scared me at the same time, but because I
No
was by
doubt.
myself. And then when I went back into the area the common area where everybody met, I asked if anybody walked past, and they all said no. And it was like, so
Wow.
that was like, wow, I wish I'd had a camera and got
Yeah.
that. But we have actually captured a picture of a shadow figure
Wow. Yeah,
with a Polaroid. We were doing an investigation at the Sir John Franklin Hotel at Kapunda. I don't know if you've heard of Kapunda. It's just one of the most haunted towns in Australia, especially the North Kapunda Hotel.
no, I've not ever heard of that. Tell me about
Yeah.
it.
Um, well, sorry.
Oh, you're
North
fine.
Kapunda Hotel is like
That's a
very.
mouthful right there.
It is, yes. Is and there's plenty of places in Kapunda that is haunted. It's like just about all around. It's a very old mining town. They used to mine copper
Mhm.
there. Yeah, copper. Um, that had a guy called Dr. Blood, believe it or not, but it was an actual doctor that was a doctor, and there was a coroner there as well. And that place called Hallway from Hell, which is an old hallway where down underneath the hotel that they used as a brothel,
Uh-huh.
and also where all the miners would stay as well. But that's and so Sydney Kidman, which is who helped build Kapunda. He's a very
Mhm.
famous Australian as well. Yeah, I mean that's very haunted. They used to have ghost tours there quite often, but it's been taken over by somebody new now. It's been sold, so and they're not doing any of that anymore, which makes a lot of
Mm.
people sad because it's a very
Yeah,
popular hotel.
no
But
doubt.
there's a hotel right across the road from it called Sir John Franklin. That's and very haunted as well. We hired the top floor. I've done 3 or 4 investigations there, and always had activity. It's got orbs,
Mhm.
stacks of them. We used to hire the family room, which is the biggest room, and there was always kids in there. I would take a rocking chair and they would rock it, and but I never captured footage of that, which is sad. But I did capture
Yeah.
footage of cat balls going off and my REM pad. I had a REM pod bear, which is
Mhm.
it if they touch it, like glows up red and makes a high pitched sound.
Mhm.
Um, and that's where we were doing, there was a lady there that used to walk up the stairs and turn left and go down to the hallway where the toilets and showers were. She was always famous, and she would go around all the rooms as well. Well, this one night, we didn't capture the lady, but we captured we were getting lots of like valid information through yes, no questions through the REM
Mhm.
pods. Alarms were going off, and then Angela just took a Polaroid, and there was nothing. We couldn't see anything at the end of the hall then. And then when the Polaroid come out, there's this shadow person there.
Wow.
So that was quite exciting.
So what do you think shadow people are? Do you think that's just like a spirit, or you think it's something dark?
Uh, it could be both.
Mm.
We didn't feel anything bad there, so I would say it was just a spirit that was there at that time that we couldn't visually see, but it showed up on the camera.
Wow, it's interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. So, when you're doing an investigation, I would assume that you guys try to debunk stuff, like they do on the TV
We
shows
have
and
to.
stuff like that. What are some of the methods you guys use to do that?
Well, for instance, if the K2 meter goes off, which obviously is an electromagnetic thing, so if you've got to make sure that there's no electricity around, like no electric point.
Yeah.
So if that's going off constantly, you have to find out if it's like by a computer. Even your phone battery will turn off when you're doing an investigation on your phone. You've
Mhm.
always got to have it on airplane mode.
Okay.
So, because the Wi-Fi can set it off as well. So yeah,
Mhm.
you've got to debunk that. Also with noises, if you hear a noise, you've got to look
Mhm.
around and say, was it something in the tree? Was it an animal?
Wow.
EVPs, you've got to make sure that there's nobody else around. Because I mean,
Yeah.
for an example, we were doing myself and my husband were doing a investigation at the Prince of Wales Hotel at Kapunda as well. Um, I was sitting down at the under like like a cabinet, a room underneath the stairs, which apparently a little girl had been murdered.
Oh,
So
here
I
we go.
just, yeah, I had a K2 meter and a cat ball in there, and just my phone, and I was like sitting
Uh-huh.
there asking questions. Well, the cat ball went off, but that was before I started recording. Um, I was actually we captured a couple of EVPs from my phone, but at like after that had happened, I left that phone recording there, and I went into the next room, which was a dining room, which is pretty much next door to the thing, and we did an Estes session. Have you ever heard of the Estes session or sound
Yeah.
deprivation?
I
Yep.
was gonna ask you about that next. Yep.
So we were doing one of those, and my husband was asking the questions, and I was thing. So when I reviewed the footage, I heard, sit there with my computer and like watch through the footage. I heard the EVPs and then I heard all these other EVPs. So I wrote them all down and what I thought was that it was saying. And then we worked out that the later ones was me actually in the next room. So we had to
Wow.
debunk those. So they weren't real EVPs, but the first couple were.
Wow. What's the best EVP you've ever got? Because those things fascinate me as well.
They do. Well, we've gotten a couple of good ones. I think The Help at the
Yeah.
penitentiary by that lady, which I actually visually heard
Right.
myself before. Um, then we were doing another investigation at Yulee Cemetery, which is a really haunted, very old historic cemetery. We were standing around this, what we think was a well, and we didn't hear it at the time, but when we watched the footage back, there was a lady saying hello.
Hmm.
Just she could hear hello.
Wow. What
There's
about
so
the
many to talk about.
Oh yeah, well, we'll just work down the list here. What about scrying mirrors? Have you ever done that
Yes,
type of investigation? You got
yes,
any good stories about those things? It's
I
another.
have.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, you're
The
fine.
latest yeah, the latest one was, we were investigating a friend's house, he sits there all day and talks with ghosts because his house is very haunted. He has
Mhm.
a couple of portals there as well, so but he's happy. There's nothing bad there or anything, except for the man out the back. Anyway, we were there we were doing an investigation there and Phil brought out this big, the owner of the house brought out this big, huge mirror. So I sat down in front of it, and trying to remember everything that I say is hard because you go into a sort of a trance. But can remember saying there was a little girl. She was about 8. She had long curly brown hair and she was wearing a pink dress and she's got a sore leg.
Wow.
And there was a few other things, but when I went back and said what I remembered, there was actually a little girl that sits in. And the little girl followed her daughter to work. That's right. And there's this little girl that actually visits her daughter, sits in her room in the corner when she's on the computer, and I described her to a T.
Wow.
So,
That's
and then
insane.
she does follow her to work as well. Yeah,
Really, man.
yeah.
You know, I've never really thought about Australia being this much of a haunted place, but I guess it's got just as much history as the rest of these places. I never really thought about Australia like that. This is very interesting. Does Australia have anything like cryptids or anything like that over there? Some urban legends or anything like that?
Yes, apparently we have what you call a Bigfoot. We call it a Yowie.
Yeah, well, that's a cooler
A
name than
Yowie,
Bigfoot.
yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yowie,
that.
yeah.
I'm always interested to hear about, some of the local stories and stuff like that. That's awesome. But, when it comes to paranormal investigations, I always like to ask everybody this question right here. Uh, what do you think it's all about? What do you think happens after we die?
I think after we die, we move on to another dimension until we're ready to come back to this earth, because I believe in reincarnation.
Mhm.
Um, so, and it's about dimensions. We don't actually die. We just move on. This is just our vessel.
I believe that as
Um,
well. What do you think portals are? And how do you know that a portal is in a place?
um, You can sort of sense them because I'm sort of like I do Reiki as well, so I can use my
Mhm.
hand and you can feel the energy in the palm
Oh,
of your
really?
hand. Well, I should do that one because it's my left hand's my power hand.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
uh, I mean, I've used my dowsing rods to find them as well. So I, try and feel it with my hand,
Hmm.
and then I'll use my dowsing rods, and they will confirm it.
Now, using your hand, you called that Reiki. I've never heard that before. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Reiki is like a universal healing, hands-on
Okay.
healing, like natural. So everybody's got it in them. You don't need
Uh-huh.
to be trained. I've done a couple of courses where you get tuned in and you've got symbols and that you can use, and you just place your hands on certain parts of the body. You can do distance healing. stuff like that. So yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's something new. I've learned something new today. Thank you for that. Have you ever been on a paranormal investigation and you just quit because it just got too real, got too scary?
Nope. I love it.
You
Although
just
I
don't
hate
get
being
you don't get
scared, I
scared
know.
that easy, do you? No,
I
no.
do. I know I do. I get terrified sometimes because, especially at the Hobart Penitentiary, and you have to go somewhere by yourself, is just creepy. It's
Right, right.
creepy. Um, another. This is another thing. The Freemasons Lodge in
Mhm.
Adelaide. That's very haunted as well, and I've done quite a few investigations in there. Probably the most scared I've been there is when I went to the toilet by myself and the door started rattling.
Wow, man, they can't even let somebody go to the bathroom
Yeah.
by themselves, can they?
Yeah,
Um,
so
well, you
yeah,
know what?
no,
Go ahead.
no, that's all right. I'm just saying, no, although I do get scared, I'm not going to let anything
I believe that. And
scare me off.
and that's why I don't paranormal investigate because I'd be the first guy out the door. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Um, Australia, what's the most active place you've ever been to?
Oh God,
Probably
there's
one of
been
those
so.
prisons, I'm guessing, ain't it?
Uh yeah, there's been quite because we've done so many investigations, and there's been quite a few where you don't get any, but others you get like lots of it. Um, Yeah, I'd say Hobart, the penitentiary in Hobart, was probably the most scared I had ever been in my whole life. That was
Really,
terrifying, getting poked in the back of my neck. Yeah.
anytime you get touched, that would be terrifying. Anytime you get touched.
Yeah. I mean, I was touched in the back doing a investigation at a cemetery as well. We were getting things thrown at us and decided to go for a walk to go to the toilet, and I got poked in the back
That's
as well.
insane.
So
I was a corrections officer for 5 years, so I've spent a lot of time behind bars the legal way. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
I wasn't an inmate, but I was in there with them, 12 hours at a time. But I've seen some crazy stuff in the jail I work in, especially during the middle of the night, man. So I can guarantee you all those jails and penitentiaries and prisons and stuff like that, they got so much negative energy
yeah.
attached to them because I think that stuff just hangs around like that. Especially you was telling me about that place where that lady was she hanged there or she was just scheduled to be hanged or something like
No,
that?
no, she was actually hung there. She was the last lady to be hung in, I think it was the whole of Australia.
Really?
And
What was
she was in there because she poisoned her abusive alcoholic husband.
really?
So
So it
yeah,
makes you wonder, did dude deserve it or, was she just a murderer?
yeah. Well, it depends on which way you look at it, doesn't it?
I guess murder's murder though, ain't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, shoot. You got any more stories you want to tell before we cut out of here, man? Sounds like you've got a million of them.
I
I
have,
like 'em.
yeah. Oh, I've got so many I can't even remember. Like it's just trying to think of one to
Yeah, I
to
know it.
do.
Yeah. Once you hit record, your mind just goes blank.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Um, oh dear. Let's see. Had things poked, thrown. I was actually. I can tell you this one. This is really. It creeped me out. We were doing an investigation in an old railway tunnel, which is now a walkthrough. People walk through
Mhm.
it every day, but it's very that had malevolent things in it. When I was doing Estes at the end of it, I had because we do used to do live streams. Haven't done it for a while though. We used to do live streams, and that viewers were saying there's like these ugly looking things sitting behind. I mean,
Wow.
because I was doing I had my headphones and doing it.
Mhm.
I didn't hear them until I rewatched it. So that was that. And then when I was sitting in, I did another one. I was sitting in the middle of the tunnel on the ground, had my headphones on, and I was using a phone that didn't have a SIM card in it. So I heard through my headphones my message tone, which is like an evil, evil laugh. It's
Wow.
actually my husband when he was doing sound stuff for his original band to put on their album. And it's
Right.
been my message tone for 20 years. Now, this phone did not have a SIM card in it. I just use it for like investigations to take pictures, use it for the ghost apps and that. No Wi-Fi, no SIM card. So there was no evidence of this. I call it the evil laugh on my phone at all when it come through on my headphones.
Wow.
It's like, what the hell? How did that come through?
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
Something evil about a laugh just can be scary, man. That's
Oh,
not
this
something you
laughs
really guarantee
no.
it.
This laughs freaks everybody out when they hear it, especially because if a message comes through and it starts off like, I can't do it. It's like, it's
Wow.
really evil. I was even like, um, put it this way, I was in the back of the house, and our house is quite close to the next door neighbour's house, and I had
Mhm.
my phone with me and the message tone went off. I heard the guy next door go,
Really? Wow.
that was a good laugh. When
That
it
is
goes off
insane.
I mean, this is not paranormal, but when it goes off in the shopping centre, people are like looking around. What the hell is that?
No
I mean,
doubt.
yeah, it's quite funny. I get a good laugh out of it, people's reactions. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why I've left it as my message tone for so many years.
I guarantee it. Oh, well, I guess if you have if do you have anything else you wanna share, or do you got anything you wanna get out there, like a website or how anybody can contact you or anything like that?
Oh well, I can tell you that my Spirit Cruise South Australia has been we're been accepted to go on Ghost. I don't know if you've heard of Ghost Flicks. It's a German paranormal TV
Oh,
show.
that sounds
So
awesome. What's it called? Ghost Flicks?
Ghost Flicks, yeah.
Yeah, you write that down. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, so we've just had our first episode put up. I think it was in May when it was put up there. So it'll be exciting to see if their viewers like us. Or we've sent them quite a few um shows. So
Do you have a paranormal group you're with, or is it just,
yep.
like, you and your husband? What's it called?
Spirit Cruise South Australia, which you can find
Okay,
on Facebook.
there you go.
And that's just a sidekick to Spirit Crew Australia. Um and also Smithfield Paranormal. You can find that's just myself and my husband, and we live at Smithfield, so we've called it Smithfield Paranormal. And you'll find that on Facebook and YouTube. And I've also got I started off a YouTube channel. It was called Christine Paranormal. And then when I joined Spirit Crew South Australia, I changed to Spirit Crew South Australia. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to change it so I can just combine it with
Yeah,
anything that I want to put up there. So it's called Spirit Watcher. So it's Spirit
okay.
Watcher at 8 on YouTube. Um, and that's got I've got some pretty good that's got the first story I told you about my auntie. That
Yeah,
video is up there. There's also, I think I've got it on it's like a thumbnail of the first ever spirit I captured on my trail cam. I don't think I ever got one after that. I put it in the back of this military museum that's very haunted.
wow.
And I actually captured, you could see, I mean, there's a flashing light at the back. Don't
Uh-huh.
worry about that. But you can see this little orb thing, and it's like about that long go past the camera. So that was a pretty good
Wow.
capture. So that,
And all
yeah.
that stuff's on your YouTube page and all that good stuff?
Yeah, on Spirit Watcher at 8.
Okay.
Yeah, Spirit
Well,
Watcher at Spirit Watcher 8, or is it Spirit Watcher at 8? I don't know. But yeah, it's got a little ghosty
okay.
thing on my the little picture that they have for your channel. Yeah.
Yeah, the little thumbnail. I'll find all the links and stuff like that, and I'll put them in the show notes of the show, so everybody that wants to go watch your stuff, they can find it in our show and just go click right to it if that sounds good to you.
That does sound good to me. Yeah. So I should plug Night Watchers Paranormal Australia, because I may become a member of them soon. I mean, I did have Night Watchers Adelaide, but I've since stopped doing that. So sort of like I'm wearing like 3 or 4 hats with all these different paranormal groups I'm in.
And it sounds
So
like you stay pretty busy, man. Of course, that's a good thing, you know?
yeah, but I haven't really done much. Only private homes and cleansings lately. So
Mhm.
that's been most of the stuff we've been doing. I'm
Do
doing an investigation in another private home on Friday night.
Well, that's just what I was gonna ask you. Have you done a lot of private home investigations? Has anything real scary ever happened that? Because that, it almost seems more scary to me than it would be going to these big abandoned hospitals and stuff like.
No, not really. We've got confirmation
Mhm.
of what's been there. I suppose we have caught an orb in this house was built in the 1700s, and it's now a dairy. It used to be a not a nunnery, but a like where pregnant women used to go
Mhm.
and birth their children. And there was a nasty nun there that used to go and keep waking up these these people's children in their bedroom. So we went there, did an investigation, and then we did a cleansing, and then we had to go back and re-cleanse because it was still there. So we had to send it on. It was actually it moved up into the roof, and you could actually hear it walking around in the
Really?
roof while we were there. Yeah,
Do you think it was a spirit of a nun? Is that what you think it was? Wow. Why do you think that? Because the nuns, to me, are scary. I mean, I guess I'm
yeah.
not
No,
Catholic.
she was nasty. She
Yeah,
was very nasty.
why do
Yeah,
you think there are, like, scary nuns like that? You'd think a nun's supposed to be something of, of God, I guess. You wouldn't think they'd be scary, but, man, they've got a
they can be nasty. Yeah,
they can.
I've
That
heard
don't that
lots of stories about nuns being really nasty to their students and
yeah, that really don't
stuff
make any
like.
sense, does it, you know?
No.
Well, you'd think somebody that's supposed to be godly would be nice to especially to children and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
there's so many stories where they're not, so there has to be something weird
yeah.
going on there.
Well, that's
Mm,
the same with there's a convent in Gawler that's not a convent anymore. It used to be it was bought as a private home, and the people that bought it, the son and the mother are still there.
wow.
Um, which is it, again that was built in the early 1800s. It's
Mhm.
been there for quite a while. It's a double story, big, huge place. It looks like a church, but it's not a church. It used to be it used to be a convent, and then it was a girls' school, and then it turned into a private house. But while it was a convent, there was this. And the girls' school, I suppose the nuns were looking after the girls. There was a horrible nun, and she still resides there.
Wow.
Um, there was I'm friends with the people that run the investigation, like the tours there, because I used to do
Uh-huh.
tours, and you'd go, you pay money and go. I don't know if you've got any of those sort of things in America where you can actually
Oh, yeah.
pay to go
My
on a.
daughter my daughter just went she's 21, and her friends just done their first paranormal investigation just this past Friday night. They rented an old hospital about an hour from where we live, and,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have her and her little crew on the podcast, and they're gonna tell me about the investigation they went on. So, I'm hoping they got
excellent.
some good evidence, but,
Old hospital, they should. Yeah,
she
they
sent me
should.
pictures of it. It looked real creepy. It's the old
Yeah.
Harriman Hospital here in Tennessee, and, I think it's been closed since 2013, and, what's weird is it's an old hospital, but it's not like these old hospitals that, like, closed back in the '60s. This sucker looks like you could still go to the kitchen and cook food in it,
Oh,
because
wow,
everything
yeah.
it still looks relatively new, and it's not all ran down or anything like that, so, looked pretty creepy with all the lights off, so hopefully they'll have
Yeah.
some good stories to tell me, man, you know?
I know
But,
I can't remember if it was the Foreman brothers or somebody else were doing a hospital. I can't remember where it was, but there was a room that was full of dolls, and there was a guy there they used to leave cigarettes for,
mhm.
and they got footage of a wheelchair moving.
Really? Wow,
Yeah,
fascinating.
but that was a creepy looking hospital too. But again, it didn't look like it was like you could still. It looked like you could still use it, but it was old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to me, that almost makes it more creepy because it looks like there should be people here, but there's not, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
She's
but
she sent me
there really
pictures
are
of this
people still
kitchen.
there. Yeah,
Oh, I guarantee it.
yeah,
A
yeah,
hospital and a jail, there's just there can be a lot of good energy in a hospital, but there can be a lot of negative energy too. Because man, a lot of people check into hospitals that don't check out, man, and so I
yeah,
think why they're kinda haunted and stuff like that.
yeah, and I think, there are, like, so many different forms of ghosts or spirit. There's,
Mm,
like, ones that are stuck here because they don't know they're dead.
yeah,
There's ones that they're attached to something, whether it be, a building, a block of land,
mhm,
an item, and there's also residual energies, which is like they don't know they're there, it's just a thing that happens. It's
mhm,
like an energy that you can see.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
because something really bad's happened, it just sticks behind and plays over and over.
Yeah, and,
So
stuff like that, we're just everybody questions it, but, we're not gonna have those answers until it's our time to learn them. You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
when we do learn them, we're not gonna be around to tell anybody about it,
No,
so
that's
and
true, yeah. Oh, we
what
could stick around and try and communicate with them through the other side,
oh,
but
look, I'm gonna be throwing stuff at people all the time. It's gonna be wherever I'm haunting somebody at, they're going to know it because they're going to be walking down the hallway. Stuff's going to be coming flying at them, it's on. Everybody I know that, knows me knows that when I pass away, get ready because I'm coming
You're
back.
gonna you're gonna give him hell.
As long as I'm allowed to.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, well,
cool.
Chris, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight and just telling us a few of your stories, man. They've all sounded fascinating, and it sounds like you have a real good time doing it, man. So I appreciate you just taking a few minutes out of your time and coming on here and talking to me tonight, man. I'm just fascinated with some of these stories that you guys tell, and I wish I was brave enough to do it myself, but I think I'll just sit right here in the chair and just listen to everybody else talk about it.
No, thank you for having me. It's been great. It's always good to tell everybody about my experiences. It's
Yeah.
it's my passion, I should say, not one of my passions. So yeah, like I
Well,
said, I'm in my element when I'm doing an investigation. So
absolutely, man. And as long as you're doing something you enjoy, that's all that matters, man. And keep up the good work. Maybe one of these days we'll get the answers we're looking for. You know what I'm talking
that's
about?
true. Hopefully, yes.
Well, well, hang around, Chris. When I stop the recording, we'll have a little quick chat after we get done. And for everybody else, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Stay spooky. Bye.
Stay spooky.
The unknown awakens, hear the echoes grow loud. We're diving deep, join the curious crowd. In the paranormal war room, we take flight, bringing the spooky vibes, shadows and light. With every beat, the legends we explore, unleashing the spirits. We're ready for more. Aliens striking down like thunder from the skies. Cryptids lurking near, in the darkness they rise. Paranormal tales that will twist your mind. Tune into the mystery, leave the norm behind. In the war room we fight, with the strange insight, unveiling truths in the paranormal war room. We take flight, bringing the spooky vibes, shadows and light. With every beat, the legends we explore, unleashing the spirits. We're ready for more. So hit that subscribe, don't be left in the dark. Join us in the war, let's make our mark.